Welcome to the Gaia Report. I'm Crystal Johnson, your host. As you know, the Gaia Report celebrates environmental sustainability, and we love to highlight people, places, and practices that support such. And for today's show, we have a wonderful guest, actually two, a father and a son. And I will introduce them momentarily so you can understand who they are and their story. And before we get to that, I do want to share that the family is the founder of Veggie Crust. Veggie Crust is in Somerville, Massachusetts, as well as Brookline, Massachusetts. And one thing I will share with you regarding Veggie Crust is that not only is it one of my favorite restaurants and my son's, but that there are many reviews that I have reviewed. And I knew that it was a wonderful restaurant based on my experience, my taste, and experience and observations from walking into the restaurant, seeing many people there. But I noticed that what I usually can find in a restaurant, maybe it gets 4 out of 5 stars, Veggie Crust has had 4.7 out of 5 stars, which is phenomenal. And so I'm going to share with you some of the reviews so you can get a good understanding of what they offer and what it is that their customers who keep coming back really value. Kayla W. states, whether you're a vegetarian or not, Veggie Crust is a must-try. Vegetarian Indian fusion pizza is such a fun twist and my now go-to food. And Angela M. states, delicious paninis and fresh-tasting food, love the corn and avocado flavor combo. Miss Angela states, just 6 days ago, they have the best vegan pizza ever that I've tasted. We travel 45 minutes to go there. Because it's far from us, we go every few months, but it's worth the travel. Cormac G. states, hands down the best vegan cheese I've ever had. I'm vegetarian and my girlfriend is vegan. The one thing holding me back has been cheese. No longer. This cheese legitimately tastes like the real deal. Very affordable prices too. Margaret O. states, great pesto pasta. Ernest G. shares, this place is really good. The flavors and freshness of the ingredients is superb. For vegetarian and vegan pizza, this place rules. And Susan C. shares, the fresh juices are also amazing. Great place for some good eats. And the last review I'll share, Christina R. Ooh my, I get takeout from here. I just got it a few days ago and I can't stop talking about it. I'm picky about my pizza and they do excellent pizza. Great crust and the twist of Indian sauce and toppings is the best. I got the paneer tikka barbecue pizza. There's been a battle for the leftovers. I'll be back. And actually one more, Farah F. 2 weeks ago just stated, the juices are made with fresh fruit. Love it. So as you can hear, the different types of fusion from Indian sounding options to some of pasta made you wonder, like, what is on the menu? And they have from pizzas, as I mentioned, to pastas, and they also have salads, but not just a normal house salad, which they do have. They have a roasted beet salad, they have a portobello mushroom salad. They also have paninis, and they have desserts. The desserts are vegan, and they have the vegan ice creams, but they also have what I consider one of the most beautiful desserts I've ever had, a vegan mousse. It is a combination of 3 simple ingredients. It's a sweet potato with a dark chocolate and a coconut milk, and it's served with strawberries on the side. And it is an incredible, healthy, energizing dessert that will satisfy your sweet tooth in such a beautiful way. And I'm so happy that this restaurant exists. But once I found out more about the story behind the restaurant and the family man who started it, I became even more interested in the restaurant and really excited to share with you, the Gaia Show viewers, our special guests. So please join me in welcoming Raj and his son, German, to the show. Welcome to the Gaia Report. I'm so thankful to have you both here.
Thank you. Give us the opportunity to come to the beautiful channel,
Yay!
And thank you for the audience, beautiful audience watching us for this show,
Yes.
Yeah.
And as I said in the introduction, my son and I very much were excited when Veggie Crust opened up here in Brookline, within I think 9 to 10 months ago.
Yep.
And it's the second store or restaurant that you've had from Somerville. And we were talking, can you share with people what your motivation was for starting Veggie Crust? Because it's a vegetarian and a vegan restaurant that has such a great blend, and you've nailed it.
Yep. And all the story start behind, I grew up in a strictly vegetarian family,
Okay.
And so the first my restaurant is an Indian restaurant called Dosa and Curry, next to the Veggie Crust in Somerville Avenue in Somerville.
All right, so you have two restaurants, a traditional Indian restaurant, Dosa and Curry.
All vegan, vegetarian.
Okay, wonderful.
And then that's when there for 8 years we opened up in 2012.
Okay.
Then after 5 years we get an empty space next door.
Oh, nice.
So I think do something different, so in the
Right.
pizza world too,
Right.
So everything starts from there. Then it took me about 8 months to build up the menu. So I want to do everything from scratch, everything fresh, nothing canned, nothing
Right.
frozen.
Right.
So again, a lot of customers walk into our Indian restaurant. Raj try to do something different now, So then unless the pizza is missing in my menu, So some pizzas, paninis, and then so we took over that place, and then build, there's a pizza concept over there. And being why is vegetarian vegan, I want all my customers to close their eyes, walk in with a trust, so at least there's no cross contaminations, there's no meats, no fish, no eggs, so the people have more choices in a vegan and vegetarian in our areas, So
And a great comfort
yeah,
in knowing that it is a full vegetarian setup, because that's a very large concern for many vegetarians.
Vegetarian community, and that supports all the environment too, So,
Yes.
so I get about, I say, if 75% customers walk and they support the environment, So this kind of the customers I have it. So this is the main motivation to open up a vegan and vegetarian place,
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know we were talking earlier, and I do want to talk about how you source and your commitment to environmental or healthy foods. But for a lot of people, it's the story behind, how business came. And as you just mentioned, you had the Dosa and Curry, and there was a great opportunity for the space next to it, and then you expanded and said, okay, how do I want to develop something? So it's not by happenstance, but life happens, and then it takes you on a path. It seemed you had shared before about your path to becoming a business owner in the food industry. Can you share with that? Because I think it's very motivating, inspiring that how people get to where they are is to share what that story was.
So the first thing with me is the passion,
Nice.
So business, I can say after my passion, So I don't want to keep my places and my passion more commercial, just not the money.
Okay.
Whatever I want to do or I like to do, and all my customers, wonderful customers or people like, whatever I'm doing. So whatever I done in the whole day, I feel happy and sleep
Right.
good in the night, whatever I done
That's
all day is
tremendous. That's
nice, So nothing, no regrets,
Right.
like, oh, I like do cutting the meats or this and like do anything like,
Right.
so as we mentioned, like in Hinduism, it's all is called non-violence, injuries, So I don't want to do anything like that. And like in the night time, so I don't have a good sleep,
Right.
I need a peace,
Right.
So peace is the biggest thing that people don't get in this kind of
Right.
world now.
Right.
So so the passion comes the first, then again try to take the pizza industry, not just the marinara sauce. So bring the global flavors into it,
That's huge.
So some are Indo-Chinese, I have some Mexican flavors,
yes.
and Italian flavors and Indian flavors, So that's how everything starts from there, And whole menu, even I go through my different reports, nobody can find this menu in this North America.
Right.
That's the way our pizza business is. So that's all the story behind it, and a lot of strict vegetarians, they always have a hard time to get the vegetarian food, not just here, everywhere. So I want to open the place, where they can trust 100%.
Yes, and one thing I liked in the reviews is that they had said whether you're a vegetarian or not, they loved it. And it's some people who are non-vegetarian, they understand that it's a lot healthier, and they're like, oh, I'll try something new. And I know I shared it with some family members who and friends, they were not vegetarian and they loved it. And your menu, from again the pastas to the pizzas and the juices to the paninis, are really wide range, but interesting flavors, and done so well. And you mentioned for being Hindu that you respect and value the vegetarian approach. Can you share a little bit more so that, because it's such a mindfulness that you bring to the restaurant that I think people would really appreciate, because I valued what you had shared as far as like, oh my gosh, I loved going there because it was very good, but also understanding now the energy that goes into it in my food made me really appreciate it. So please share about your approach regarding vegetarianism and the human body and health, and why not have meat.
So vegetarian, like if you go as a Hinduism, so I can say I have approached like 50-50. I not really strictly goes with the religions or Hinduism or any kind of practice, but again, the Hinduism is based on the non-violence. So any act, of which person directly or indirectly sports, killing or injuries, seen as a violence, and count as like a harmful karmas.
Right.
That's what the Hinduism, so they don't support at all the killing, and we can use somebody else's blood to fill our own full stomach.
Right.
So that's one reason behind. Then I believe, personally, whatever you sow, you reap.
Right.
And as our menu and our Veggie Crust slogan is, you are what you eat.
True.
True. So whatever you eating, everything comes that way. It doesn't matter, it comes from a language, or you're from mind, or from your hands, so anywhere.
Right.
So that's another reason why I support the vegetarian. And again, I told you, like I'm a vegetarian by birth. So my family, my grandparents, they are strict vegetarians.
That's so great.
And comes to the food, vegetarian, definitely is definitely vegetarian food gives you a peace. While eating a non-vegetarian food, definitely you eating somebody else's blood.
That has great stress
And create stress, depressions,
Right.
And that's the studies going on these days.
Yes.
Why the non-vegetarian has more depressions and
Right.
more anxieties,
Right.
Because all the slaughterhouses,
Yes.
so all the animals get killed over there. They're watching each another get killed. So
They're raised in a stressful environment. They're
and
quite smart, very social, very astute,
social,
and they have a biochemical reaction to that
Yep.
reaction, to that situation, reality,
Yeah.
and then people consume
Yeah.
that.
And definitely that at least 1% of hormones, transfer to the human bodies.
Oh, wow, yes.
And if you don't say like 2% or 5%, I
But
can
it
say like at
matters.
least 1%,
Right.
So that creates more depressions in this world. And so again, vegetarian is a clean diet.
Nice.
Light diet.
Yes.
You don't feel heavy.
True.
And everything in front of you, there's no blood,
Right.
and no preservatives, so everything in front of you. So that's the main reasons behind to be a vegetarian and try to do the vegetarian places.
Nice.
Sometimes I think of vampires, and if you're killing an animal and eating it, you're basically drinking blood of it.
That is very true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
And one thing that I also really appreciate is that you guys make your own sauces, you make your own breads. Can you share about that? Because that's also what makes the pizza so great and everything so tasty. How did that come along?
So again, I try to do something different in the industry,
It is.
So I do have a lot of friends who owns the restaurants, and then every time I walk into their kitchens, they're using the canned foods or frozen foods, so I don't want to do the same thing in my place. So I want to stand unique,
Yes.
You know, so my place I want to be unique. So the healthy, more fresh, more natural, everything from scratch.
Nice.
You know, it takes me extra effort, but I'm happy.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, and your
yeah.
customers are too.
Yeah, customers happy too. You know.
Me too.
Can you share with me what you had shared about canned food?
Yeah, if we had like cans for like pasta, like we had to put some chemicals in it,
They
which we
do.
don't do because like the next like 1 day or 2 day it's gonna get expired. So
That's true.
like we need to put like a chemical so they won't expire, but we don't do that stuff. We make everything natural.
That's very true. So as he was highlighting is that in canned food, it is meant to have a long shelf life. And not only does a can have a lining, but there are usually some sort of preservative. And that is not the vibrant way, the healthy way. And that your food is made from scratch and it's fresh, so you don't need to be bothered with that.
Yeah.
And that freshness adds to the flavor, adds to the whole experience and everything, right?
So again, this is all the stories behind the scratch to make everything. Let's take started from the dough. These days, people buying the frozen dough balls, or they pre-made from the companies who just deliver the dough to you guys.
Yes.
And
yes.
so that's never I count it as a fresh. The fresh means either 1 day or 2 day old max.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So we use only if it's the flour bags comes with 50 pounds of a bag.
Okay.
We use only 1 ounce of yeast in there.
Oh.
You know, so
Right.
that's what makes our pizza very light. Even you sleep before go to bed, next morning you wake up very light. Usually you eat pizza at the night, you will feel very heavy.
Right.
Sometimes you'll be healthy people, they will feel bad eating a pizza
Right.
late night.
Right.
So my pizza is not like that, you know. So we keep it in healthy, simple ingredients, half and half canola and olive oil,
Oh, beautiful.
yeast, salt, sugar, and water.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
No eggs, no nothing,
Right.
you know. And we give a 12 hours to get raise the dough overnight at least, you know. But usually people what they do, they use about 7 to 8 ounces of yeast to bring it more commercial, like
Oh,
so it
wow.
get raised faster and give them more dough balls out of the bag.
Got it.
So
We-
that's make the pizza
We just
heavy.
do it all simple. We don't like.
And it works so well because the pizza,
Yeah.
we had first gone there, we had
Yeah.
gotten a basil pesto vegan, and I saw the pizzas going by when we were picking it up.
Yeah.
And the dough was beautiful.
Yep.
It looked like it had a little bit of a softness, but also had like a little crunch on
Crunchy,
it. And then we've gotten the pizza,
Yep.
and the dough is just amazing. The
Yep.
crust.
Yep.
And so now understanding then how you make it
Yep.
with that understanding.
Simple ingredients, you know, simple.
great.
That's the people probably
It's not
start
heavy.
back in the days in Italy, you know, simple. It's home style from
Right.
scratch, you know, nothing more artificial flavors, you know, chemicals, lot of yeast,
Right.
difference, nothing like that.
And you don't feel heavy afterwards. You feel
Never.
you had a great meal. but
We
you don't
always
feel
tell the
heavy.
customer, you know, we guarantee you, you never feel bad after it. That's the
True.
the people believe, you know, our pizza is heavy,
No, right?
but with our pizza, nobody can say it's heavy.
Oh, that's great.
I have customers, they eat the full large pizza, you know, and then after they still say, we're still
Yes.
hungry, you know. You know?
It's really great.
Yeah.
They feel so light. Like
Yeah, it
they
feels
want
so-
they want it more because it's so good.
And the ingredients on there are
Yep.
so fresh.
Yep.
So I noticed that you do highlight on your menu that you are very aware of the environment and having healthy ingredients. How do you source them, and how does that work seasonally? How is that feasible? Because it's one thing that stands out
Yeah.
in your food.
Mostly our kitchen is like some Italian spices and mostly Indian spices, you know. So I can't say like it's hard to get these days. We easily get is only thing is the curry leaves. We use the fresh curry leaves to make a curry leaf pesto.
Okay.
So that's in the winter time. Sometime we have a little hard time to get it because they only export it from Hawaii. You know, so sometime winter time is like cold over there, so they have a fall season. So but we try to, the pestos no go bad, you know, even we put a oil, grind them up and keep it for a couple months. They don't
Right.
never go bad. So we stock it before the winter start for a couple months.
Nice.
So we don't have a hard time to in the winter time,
Getting
because that's the most famous sauce in our menu going right now on the pizzas, portabella pizzas.
Okay.
So then comes to the simple vegetables. We do have green peppers, bell peppers, broccolis,
Yes.
portabella mushrooms,
Totally.
fresh corn. You know, they're all
Totally.
available all year around. You
Right.
know, so nothing frozen. You know, only frozen
nice.
item in our restaurant is like fries. You know,
Oh, yes.
you know,
And the spicy fries.
fries,
Those are good.
spicy fries, or some veggies, onion rings. Beside that, everything fresh.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
Again, comes to the sauces, like a simple marinara sauce. People just buy the pre-made sauces and just mix them up and put on the pizza.
Right.
We cook the sauce.
Oh my
You know.
gosh.
We cook for 3 hours. We cook our own tomatoes and made the sauce. So that's the key behind what the marinara sauce too.
Right.
You know. Same with the Alfredo sauce, no pre-mixed. We
Oh,
cook
that's
our own
amazing.
milk. Yeah, we cook our own heavy cream or milk.
Oh, that's so great.
So
Aspen
then
loves
we
it.
have a vegan Alfredos,
Yes.
you know, made of coconut milk. So now we recently start our own mayonnaise. It's roasted garlic mayonnaise and chipotle mayonnaise. You know, so people love it. You know, so everything from scratch.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, in the Somerville location, it's an open kitchen,
Open kitchen.
which is a really great atmosphere. It's really nice for people to see, especially when you have such a health-oriented, clean, like clean food eating way. Now, one of the things that I really noticed right when I walked in that was different is that you have fresh juices.
Yep.
And I'm not talking juices in the cupboard. I mean, in the in a
the cooler,
refrigerator.
or
It's
something.
you make them fresh.
Yeah.
So, what was the interest about bringing that and introducing that into the dinner and the pizza, the pastas?
So when I think about to open a vegan or vegetarian pizza, so and there's no liquor license available, so then comes to the mind like the healthy people doesn't like to drink these sodas,
Right.
and
Right.
then think let's do the fresh juices, so
Yes.
that's a nice combination, so that works for me, like either doesn't matter we have a beer or wine or no
Right.
sodas, people go with the juices, either juices or plain water.
Yes.
I do have some sodas in there, but I can say I have only 1% sales.
Right.
So I sell more juices, and it's all front. We have a bar in front of the customer. We
Right.
just squeeze them freshly,
Right.
and so people love it. The combination,
Right.
and I always, admire the fresh juice. So yeah, that's what it is.
It's very nice.
Yeah, it's very
It's
nice.
like at like some restaurants, they sell like juices, can't like box juices.
Totally.
Yeah. So, but we make fresh juice.
And that is truly appreciated. And I was very surprised when I saw that, and now really pleased. Not just sometimes just to get a juice,
Yep.
even if I'm not getting with the meal, but to have a juice bar in
Yeah,
the community
juice bar,
is really nice.
And it gives you a nice boost, Yeah,
Yes.
nice boost. It's healthy.
Right.
Doesn't matter you getting a pizza or not. A lot of customers walk in only for juice.
Right.
And we try to make the menu like healthier.
Yes.
On the juices section too. Like if you take this juice, this will help you to
Yes.
maintain this juice. Like people ask
Share
us like,
information.
oh, why this name for
Right.
like a tropical juice? Like
Right.
we sell a tropical juice is all combination good for the summertime. Especially it's good to be getting hydrated. So these all the story behind the juices. Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I do have to highlight, because I do have a sweet tooth that I try to satisfy with very healthy options, and your desserts.
Yep.
Can you talk about the vegan ice creams
Yep.
as well as the vegan mousse?
Yep. So the ice creams we used to make we recently tell my audience we're going to start collaborating with the FOMO ice cream.
Ah,
So we start carrying the FOMO. In Somerville, I already start from last week.
Oh,
So
okay.
Brooklyn, we starting from next week.
Oh, wow.
So the thing is, with making our own ice cream, is a lot of health department requirements.
Okay.
So I make my ice creams in Somerville location.
okay.
So then we bring it to here, but again, a lot of rule and regulation to produce your own ice cream.
Wow.
So then I talked to this FOMO, they love our concept too.
Right.
So they said, okay, let's go do that.
that's great.
So we bringing all the FOMO flavors.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So and people like the FOMO, So
Right.
yeah.
Are you
So,
keeping the vegan mousse?
Be keeping the bean.
Okay.
That's our own signature dishes.
That
you know.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
I have never had anything
Yeah.
so incredibly
Yep.
good and such simple ingredients.
Yep.
And it all comes
very,
together.
very simple, very simple. No preservatives at all. Simple. You know, we boil our own sweet potatoes. That's the main ingredients in the
Yes.
vegan mousse. You know, so very simple, very
Right.
simple. So again, you know, all our menu is like, you know, regret. Like why
No.
eat something. Like usually people, even though people who like to cook at home, they don't want to eat outside. They
Right.
believe like everything is, you know, commercial,
Yes.
you know, and heavy
Right.
preservatives. All they looks good, but
Yes.
they're not healthy. So in our place, whoever eat, they feel like it's a home style, and they eat the fresh food and healthy food. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my dad worked very hard for this restaurant
Yay.
because he believed it. He worked hard for it, so he accomplished it.
That is, and I'm so appreciative for that. And I think that's so inspiring for
Yeah.
everybody, but it's got to be wonderful for you to witness
Yeah.
and how it then provides you with so much energy and just to run with it and your own thing. But one
Yeah.
thing I loved what you had shared was that your mindfulness and your commitment to how you were raised
Yep.
and vegetarianism,
Yep.
as well as, you know, just valuing, you know, vibrant life and what that means for you, you know, physically, and then as somebody who's also Hindu, but your commitment to having a restaurant, because you could have just said, you know what, I'm just going to do a business and use a general model that
Yeah.
does have meat, or I can use canned, and you were very committed to having quality, natural, you know, healthy food, and that's quite rare. And when I found out more about your story, I'm really more impressed with the menu option that you have, because you can find some places that are vegan or vegetarian, but they're still missing on the taste. And it seems that you have really mastered the fusion of flavors that you bring together, and the breads, and how it all comes. But I really love your commitment, because as someone who wants to support sustainability and the vegetarianism, I have to say, well done. And it's my understanding that right now you have 2 locations. What are your plans for a third?
Plans, the menu going to be stay same, you know, because I don't
You
want
should.
to add, no, I don't want to add
It
more and
wins.
more items and ruins the quality and the freshness.
True. It's very
so
true.
this menu is
Menu is
enough for
perfect.
me, enough
Right.
for me, you know,
I
enough.
agree.
I believe enough for my customers too. You know.
There's plenty of options
So
there.
the location wise, just we do people like when we open the Somerville, I'm very surprised. The first is a Thursday night when we open. I get the customers from JP, Brookline,
Oh wow! Yes.
Brighton, Olliston, you know. So from the first day when they tasted the pizza, they said like, why not when you're next opening in Brookline or JP or Brighton, you know. Said definitely. So came along, you know. Then a lot of customer pushing us, and I get a lot of the Jewish community customers coming to my Somerville location, you know. So mostly communities in this area,
Right.
you know. So I believe they are kosher, but they like to eat vegetarian, you know.
Yes.
So that's another reason why I came to the Brookline, you know. And one thing I meant to mention, you know, behind our menu, you know, I have a very close friend. His name is Papino, you know.
Oh yes.
He owns an Italian restaurant, Da Vinci, up in Sudbury.
Okay.
So he's my
nice.
co-partner, chef partner in Brookline, you know. So me and him are the main behind all the menu and all the fresh foods, you know.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love
So-
hearing your whole story, because you had you have the dosa and curry, which
Yep.
came first,
Yep.
which was vegetarian
Yep.
Indian,
Yep.
and then also have the veggie crust
Yep.
with your
Right next to each other, yeah.
and then you have
Yep.
your partner,
Fine.
friend, who
Yep.
has Da Vinci,
Yep.
Italian, and you have the veggie crust.
Yep.
That's so great, and it blends beautifully.
Perfectly, yeah. Again, you know, though as you said, like who push you, like as my son is here, my family, my wife, everybody supports me a lot, you know.
That's so great.
Because they love to be a vegetarian, so they don't want me to see, you know, doing whatever they don't like.
Right.
So I have a full support from the family too, you know. So that's another. It's a very nice piece when I go at home at night. So everybody
That's
happy, whatever I'm
wonderful.
doing, you know.
Right.
So in this world, you know, again I want to mention, you know, there's very hard to get the peace. Rest, you can buy anything in this world, but you can't buy the peace.
Peace is
Yeah.
more valuable
Yeah.
than
So,
any commodity, any
yeah.
gold, anything.
So whatever you sleep for 6 hours or 8 hours,
Right.
if you have have a deep sleep, I believe you as the poorest person in the world.
True.
So you need a good night's sleep.
And if you don't have your health.
Yeah, health. So everything all together brings me this concept, not just the business is far away from me. So the passion to provide the right food, clean food, and plus whatever I'm doing, I feel great about it, more proud. So whatever I'm doing, is nice,
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And I have to thank you because I feel you take vegetarian and vegan food to an advanced level, again, as far as the flavor and the options.
Yep.
And that's one thing.
Yeah.
But as I said, your commitment and mindfulness that you share, that you bring to the food that like I consume, as a customer means so much. And that's priceless because I want someone who has designed the menu, creates the food, and has the kitchen, and has the staff that has that mindfulness and appreciation.
Yep.
So that as I absorb that energy
Yep.
with great appreciation, that I understand how it was made and I understand what was behind it. And that really matters.
Yep.
And I think even if your customers at the time didn't know it, they can taste it, they feel it, and it really comes across. So I wish you tremendous success in so
Thank
many
you.
different ways, continued peace and great creativity with all that you do. And I have to say to you and your son, your family, on behalf of Mother Nature,
Yep.
thank you so much for
Thank you.
Veggie Crust.
Thank you. All our pleasure.
It's like all about family and peace.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Success to you.
Yep. Thank you again, everybody. It's our great pleasure to be on this wonderful channel.
And just-
yep.
And just to share with you, Veggie Crust is in Somerville and it is in Brookline. Please look it up, Veggie Crust. At the end of the show, we will have details regarding the address and phone numbers for you. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.